Hi, it's Aline and Michelle, and we're back. We're back and better than ever, baby. We're so excited to bring you along for the Edinburgh chapter of our 3-part UK sister travel series. If you're new here and you don't know who we are, what we're about, we're actually sisters, so you're not seeing double. Yeah. You are in fact just seeing a genetic link. Although we are not twins, there has been some slight confusion over the years. We do have a 2.5-year age gap. Yes. Guess who's older in the comments? Haha. Please don't. It's her, okay? If you missed our last vlog, it was 3 days in London, and now this video is our 3 days in Edinburgh. There will be a last part of this vlog series, which will be the 3 days in the Cotswolds, so there's lots to look forward to, both for us and for you. Just like in our London chapter, you are gonna see us popping in throughout this vlog just to kind of tie pieces together where we may have fallen off the wagon, if you will. The connective tissue to some of our beautiful montages. But without further ado, why don't we just get into our 3 days in Edinburgh. Cheers. Cheers. We're saying hi to you from Edinburgh, Scotland, which is so exciting. Definitely a huge bucket list check for us as people who, how you say, pursue a cozy lifestyle. You can't really get cozier than Edinburgh. We're so excited to be here. We've actually never been to Scotland before, so this is a big moment. We got in at about 3:11 p.m. The train ride was pretty uneventful, although very quick. Do you want to share about the smell? Okay, so this is what happened. We get on, it's totally well and good. We did go for the most affordable train liner just because we're on a budget. So we did go for the more affordable ticket out of all the tickets, which is with this company called Lumo. There it is. We went with Lumo as opposed to like the more popular train company, and you know what, it's fine. You get what you pay for. You get where you need to go. We got delicious tea on the trip. It was tasty. We didn't pay for it, but it was there, and I personally was impressed. Yeah, no, it was a completely totally fine journey. It's just very no frills, and there was a small smell. There was a specific scent. There's a consistent smell the whole train ride. Aline kept saying that it smelled like gym class. There's definitely a word that I was using in Spanish to describe it to Michelle. Every single time I caught a whiff, I said this word. I just said peto, like P-E-T-O, and peto it can be a number of things. It can be like, it can be a training bra, also can be like a light mesh vest. It can be like anything like that you put over your chest. This doesn't really matter. That's what the smell was. So there was a smell throughout the 4 hours. However, we were okay. We pushed through. The site was gorgeous. Michelle actually brought like this essential oil, like smelly rollerball. We huffed the whole time. I literally put it under my nose. So blessed to be able to go on the trip. I won't remember the smell. Can I be honest? I won't remember it. I'm sure that I'll watch this vlog back in a few years and I'll be like, oh, that's so funny that we're talking about the smell. I don't remember the smell. I remember the beautiful vistas. Memories. Anyway, we are at our beautiful Airbnb. It definitely feels like a step up from the previous one if you tuned in to the London portion of this vlog. It's just really beautiful and the service has been really lovely, and we're so far really impressed with the accommodations. It is in a shared house, but they're upstairs, I think, right? Yes, they're upstairs. So it's completely private, really lovely, and has like a little tea station, has sanitary products in the bathroom, hot water bottle, lots of blankets, a huge soaking tub that we might use separately, to be clear, just to avoid any rumors. Anyway, we're starving. Our stomachs are echoing, concaving, twisting, writhing, and we are really excited to get out onto the streets. It's also so chilly here. I don't know if you can tell by our change in attire, but we were complaining like in the last vlog about how we were so hot, and I can't believe that 10 degrees makes such a difference. It is significantly cooler here, but we're thriving. We're finally wearing the clothes we wanted to wear. Clothes we packed. Yeah, absolutely. So bundled up, and we're ready to go to, I believe it's pronounced Macar's Mash Bar, or Macar's Mash Bar, and we had this pinned for a while. One of you all recommended it to us, and then I also saw it on various TikToks. So incredible. We're so excited. Shout out to whoever recommended it if you're watching, and we'll probably do a little walk around outside. However, it's getting late quite quickly. Yeah, it's like 4:30. Probably just do like a little stroll and dinner tonight. It's been a long day and we want to go to sleep early so that we can wake up early tomorrow and get,
you know, feet on the ground running with our adventures.
Yeah, it's so funny. Somebody did ask me if I was gonna do like any clubbing when I was here, like any club hopping. And I didn't know how to tell them, like, that thought never entered my mind as a potential thing to do.
We have been treating this vacation the same way we would treat it if we were like 72 and going on this trip later in life.
Yes, and I plan to copy paste this itinerary when I'm like 40, 50, 60, 70.
Anyway, let's go to the city.
Good morning, everybody. From Edinburgh, our first morning here on our trip. Last night, apologies for like the mere snippets we gave you, but we were honestly so tired, and all we did really that was exciting was we went to Makar's mash bar, and what the hell, that was so good.
So good.
So 10 out of 10 experience. We ordered the lamb shank and the haggis, and it was delicious. Both were insane. And I tried my first ever sticky toffee pudding, which I had a sneaky suspicion would be a bit of me, and it was. It was confirmed. It was absolutely delicious. And then I also got this cider. Thistley Cross, I think was the brand, right? Yes, that was a distillery. Yeah. Thistley Cross cider. I got the summer fruits, Scottish fruits blend. And you guys, when I tell you that was the best thing I've ever had, it really was. Like, this would be my ideal beverage. Not too sweet, but definitely had like a juicy forward vibe. Like, it wasn't sweet like candy. It was so fresh, so light, and I was such a fan. I wish that I could hunt it down in New York City. If anyone knows how to get Thistley Cross in New York, let me know. Also, Scottish girlies, comment down below if you're also a fan, because I absolutely was. Sorry, there's a truck. And I had my first whiskey of the trip last night. It got me kind of drunk off my ass at Uniqlo at 7:30 p.m. buying Heat Tech. I did pop into Uniqlo to get Heat Tech.
Everything here is absolutely insane.
Like, I don't know if you guys can see really what we're kind of looking at. The thing is, the camera doesn't do it justice. In the context, you exist in the context. Look how beautiful where we're walking is. Like, it's just so gorgeous, and it's just this little alleyway. Like, come on. Everything is so beautiful and so clean. Yeah, obsessed. We popped into Uniqlo. Yeah, to get some Heat Tech. You know, when we first arrived, it was like 75 degrees in London. We were sweating. Now it's like the low was 41 last night. We definitely brought so much warm stuff. I brought Heat Tech. I brought sweat. We brought. I don't know if it's enough. Yeah, scarves. I brought gloves. Like, we didn't. Ooh, it's not our first day on Earth. Ugly. No, you're ugly. I don't want to get hit by a car while vlogging. I think that'd be so embarrassing.
So embarrassing.
Oh my god, look at that. Look at that. And here's the thing. We brought so much warm stuff. When I say it's not enough, I might not have enough warm pieces, because Michelle was saying, she's like, my Heat Tech that I brought is gonna be so smelly by the end of this if I don't get something else. So we ended up 7:30 post mashed potatoes shopping for layers, and I have this green turtleneck on. You'll see it later. It's quite beautiful. Yeah, we can do some fit checks later when we're full of breakfast, which is where we're headed right now. But we slept in a little bit because we were quite exhausted. We wanted to make sure that we were, my arm's getting tired. Can you hold it? We did sleep in a little bit because of our late night excursion, and we did want to take a bath. Not together. we took separate baths in the beautiful gigantic tub. It was so, at our Airbnb. So nice. I called my partner, had a little bit of a catch up for the first time, and then we went to sleep probably like around 10. Yeah. And then we had the alarm set for 7. Alarm goes off. Baby, we were snoozing that shit. Snoozing that shit. Over and over until 8. Woo! Tunnel of love. Please don't. Today we really don't have anything booked until 9 p.m. which is our tour of the Royal Mile.
So today is gonna be a lot of meandering, a lot of eating good food, and then we're going on a spooky tour tonight. So it's good that we rested up, or if not, we'd be under the table.
Yeah, because
we'd be lying down in the torture chamber to have a snooze.
Sleep next to the chains and the cobblestone that's stained with blood. It was like a pillow to rest me head. Anyway.
Anyway, let's go get some breakfast. Just saw us popping into the most delightful vintage shop. I think we both were absolutely stunned.
Yeah, there are 2 locations too, so there wasn't even just one. There's 2 of that same vintage reseller in Edinburgh.
Huge selection, so beautiful. Like, that's where, if you're looking for like your vintage cozy kooky knits, absolutely hit it up. Boy, oh boy, did I find like the find of the trip. This is probably one of my most special souvenirs. I went into the Scotland leg of our trip wanting to pick up a sweater in Scotland, and I picked up this adorable wool sweater. It fits perfectly.
So
I love how like thick and like high the neck is without being a turtleneck. I think that this cut is just so satisfying. I hate like a big loose collar.
No, or like a thin, like you see this band here, like it's so satisfying. I'm trying to say the word flattering less, but like it is a very, yeah, cinches in the neck. It's almost like it gives that turtleneck effect without like compromising the length of the neck itself.
Oh, it's just so beautiful. It's not too long, but it has that like wide boxy cut, and I just think that these colors are everything. I'm trying to get into a little bit more color. As you can see, I'm wearing green again today.
And this is you embracing color. It's brown, basically.
It's green.
We also stopped by Black Moon Botanica. This was earlier in the vlog before we had breakfast. I got this little weekly planner to-do list. It obviously is kind of medieval themed. There is a dragon upon it. If you don't know my lore, I am currently writing a fantasy novel with dragons. I am a big fan of this kind of vibe. I'm also kind of canonically disorganized in my everyday. The fact that I get anywhere that I need to be is
on time,
is impressive. Yeah. I don't really use a planner.
Aline doesn't use
Google
reminders. She doesn't have like a daily to-do list. She doesn't have Google Calendar or Apple Calendar like with anything on it. I don't know how she does.
Technology overwhelms me.
And a paper planner
also overwhelms me. I see it as like something that I start falling behind in, and then it just makes me feel worse about myself, so then I just like put it in a drawer.
Yeah, keep up with.
But this is the kind of thing of like, they're just sheets. You have a weekly breakdown side, and you also have a to-do list side, and I do love to-do lists. Like, they really do work for my brain when I manage to do them. This way I can do it or not do it, and it's always gonna be relevant to my life. I could truly continue to use it throughout my years, and it's special because I got it in Scotland, baby.
Hello from Dean's Village. We are here obviously together. It is much later in the day. It is around coming up on 4, and we have been doing the greatest amount of walking known to man.
So much meandering.
So much sightseeing. We have checked off like everything on our itinerary. Essentially, this is the last stop before we figure out what's for dinner, and then
how we want to spend our evening.
How we want to spend our evening besides our ghoulish tour of the Royal Mile at 9 p.m. So we have some time to kill. So tranquil in here, and we've been having such a nice day.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And we've lucked out on the weather too. I know it's kind of cloudy in this shot, but the sun has been shining on and off all day. Yeah, no rain. Oh, beautiful. Hello, it is I, Aline, and it is much later, obviously, from our last little update, but we had such a lovely afternoon. We actually got a little lost after our walk through Dean Village, and it was such a happy accident because we had been craving a snack and a spot of tea, and we hadn't been able to find any in the area while we were making our way to our locale. But when we got lost on the way of coming out of the little village, we actually ran into a place that Michelle was recommended to by a mutual, right, Michelle?
Yeah, highly recommend whenever you're going on a trip and you get recommendations to just, no matter what they are, just pin them on Google Maps, because you never know when you're going to be just meandering, and you can check Google Maps and you already have like the recommendations pinned on your maps. So if you stumble upon something that someone said was really great, even if you don't think you're gonna need it or use it, it's just so nice. It's like my ultimate hack, if you will. This place, Patisserie Florentine, was absolutely such a dream. Very like locals haunt versus some of the more touristy things we did today.
We had some tea, we had a plum almond tart and a Bakewell tart, and they were delicious. So that was so lovely. And yeah, it was very much like a little bit more quiet after the hubbub of Victoria Street, so that was ideal. Now we're getting ready to go to dinner. We came back here and we rotted for like 45 minutes.
It was so needed after our very active day.
Yeah, again, another like 14,000 steps, and we haven't even gone on our walking tour yet, so that's a shocker. My calf on my right hand side is actually kind of a little pinchy and tight. I might roll it out with my reusable water bottle later before bed, and that's a little glamour tip from me to you. But feeling cute in our fits, refreshed our makeup a little bit.
We bundled up a little extra because we're doing a night tour. The temperatures are gonna plummet. We're in our cozies, a little bit more comfy. We've got our comfy sneakers on, ready for our walking tour and dinner.
I've got some wool on.
Wool on wool, baby. And we're going to the Scran and Scally tonight. Honestly, we were so over walking, we're so tired, so hungry, that we're calling our first Uber of the entire trip.
Yeah. So, and it's $5 each. So you know what? We're gonna make it happen. Another reason why we're taking a car is that we're a little nervous about what the wait time's gonna be, because we've had waits for both the restaurants that were pretty significant here in Edinburgh. They were like 30 and 45 minutes respectively.
So we're a little worried just because we have the walking tour. If not, we definitely probably would have just taken the tram over
and gone at like 5, because we've been eating dinner at like 5 p.m.
Since there might be a wait, we want to make sure we get there as soon as possible. Was something that I had seen on a couple itineraries that I had researched online, and thought that was just gonna be a really fun, exciting thing to do. I do think that it's really nice to have kind of structured like events or like things that you have to go to at a certain time to kind of break up the aimless quality sometimes of when you're just like walking around, popping into things that catch your eye. It's also a nice break from the decision making that comes with so what do you want to do next? Like, or like, should we pop into this shop?
Yeah.
Like, it's so nice to be like, well, no, we have tickets to this thing at X time and we're going. And it's something that will help well round the trip, where you can learn about where you are and see the sights. I think that that's something that we like really crack the code on. One of our favorite like touristy things is tours.
Yeah, we just like a tour.
We love a tour apparently.
When our tour guide Louisa rolled up to that chilly block of Old Town, she clocked in.
Yeah.
She literally was like on.
Capital E entertainer. The tour kicked off and it was an above ground section of the walking tour.
We got to go to St. Giles Cathedral and we got to get a breakdown of different cultural things that were happening in that area. We get to spit on something. What did we spit on?
Spitting for good luck, Edinburgh.
Maybe that's why things are going so well for us now.
We got to spit on the heart of Midlothian, which is a mosaic in the town square on the Royal Mile, and apparently it brings you good luck and it's a Scottish tradition. So honestly, things are really turning around for us now.
Yeah, it could be that.
It really, now thinking back, I forgot that we did.
Maybe there's something to it, which was like the old prison, town hall kind of site.
The former old toll booth, a prison and town hall that was demolished in 1817.
So like that's the shit that you learn that you're like, I would never have clocked this.
Probably walked by it earlier that day.
Yeah,
actually.
yeah, exactly. We're spitting nowhere. There's also a section of the tour that's dedicated to different like torture tools of the era. We got to also learn about the like Edinburgh witch hunt, which is something that we weren't aware of as a culture that kind of focuses more on our Salem witch trials, but turns out
way more people were executed.
Way more people were lost to this period in Scottish history where witches were reviled and kind of sought out, but it was really just like a lot of women who were behaving in not traditionally feminine ways, like just gossiping. It tells you the power of talking to your friends. Then we got to do the underground vaults tour as well, which was crazy. We actually got to check in with a local Scotsman at the airport when we were leaving the UK, and he brought up this tour and said that he loved it, and he went to the same one that we went to, so it was actually very cute to have it approved by a local as well.
Stamp of approval.
But it was spooky, I will say. That part, the energy, hearing about how many people had also like died in these underground vaults that were originally storage for merchants. Over time it became like sanctuary for a lot of society's kind of most forgotten or underserved people, and because of that it kind of festered into a site for violence and a lot of suffering. So the amount of like loss that probably is tied to those spaces is kind of wild. You're guys standing there in your dumb little sneakers with your dumb little phone trying to take a vibey picture of the candle, and you're like, I don't know if I should be here.
I imagine like, you know, museum lighting, kind of like bright, sterile. It was kind of pitch black besides like candlelight down there. Really off-putting energy, but in a fun way. I think Louisa, our tour guide, really like her sense of humor. Whenever it started like verging to creepy territory, I think like the jokes helped, the entertainment helped. Yeah, we had a blast despite it being way spookier than we anticipated.
And yeah, maybe we're a bit wimpy. But you know what? There was also a woman who was on our tour who was clearly some sort of like energy finder girly. Like she was clearly very superstitious. She would just like go off on her own and go start touching the walls.
Yes, palms to the stone.
And I was like, I need you to stop doing that today. I'm like, gonna knock that off.
Who are you bringing out? Who are you bringing out to play tonight?
No, like put it back in. No one wants to see that. I need you to keep your hands to yourself, hands at your sides.
But we'll link the tour that we went on down below.
Because we did love it. It was great.
I think was one of the most special things we did while we were in Edinburgh. I think this, Makar's Mash Bar, those two together, and what a winning combination. Aline's whiskey tasting that you'll soon hear more about. 10 out of 10.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
So it's been I was gonna say it's been a wild 12 hours, but I guess it's not really that wild. It's just that we've had to make several pivots in our itinerary,
which we sometimes are not as good at as we would like to be.
Famously we're quite terrible at going with the flow. So last night, the Scranton Scally turns out is like a Michelin star restaurant, and you really need a reservation if you want to get in there.
Yeah, you can't just walk in willy-nilly in
like
your
we
sneakers.
did.
You know, we've been able to get into everywhere we've been wanting to go pretty
seamlessly.
You know, sometimes there's a little bit more of a wait, but this time we were truly turned away, and it was
fully booked.
To say the least. So we did have to pivot and just pop into a little sourdough pizza place, which, you know, was not in the cards. We had lots of local cuisine that we wanted to sample while we were in town, but it was delicious. It was affordable.
We were able to have a salad as well, which turns out it was necessary for multiple reasons.
We've been eating a lot of beige food,
a lot of meat wrapped in pastry.
It was delicious to share a little margarita pizza, delicious butternut squash salad.
We wanted to go to a pub and have some fish and chips, but truly it was comical. In a row, we were like, first pub on the block only does liquor and ale.
No food.
And then the second one's kitchen was closed. Like, it was closed for, it was just closed for the month, apparently.
Yeah, and then the third, they were reopening today.
Because they did a remodel on the space, and then they were like, we'll be open tomorrow, grand opening. And we were like,
so we truly tried like 3 or 4 pubs, and it was just not happening. And then we stumbled upon this like cute sourdough pizza place, and we're like, you know what, let's just do it. Especially because we had our terror tour at 8:50. We didn't want to risk it by like trying to find another random
because that's also something that we probably would have done if we were younger and stupider, was just like dick around for way too long trying to find somewhere to eat and then accidentally miss our tour, or be
the thing that we actually care about.
So like we just called it and we made a choice, and it was delicious. It was very, very tasty. The dough was actually fantastic on the pizza, I'll tell you that much.
It was so fresh, so delicious.
And also it was better spending like $30 on a meal. We spent like half that, which was nice, and it was also in an area of Edinburgh that was a little less like touristy hub, so it was a lot more quiet and peaceful, which is nice because Old Town is beautiful, but we have found it sometimes overstimulating with the amount of people there are. And like, listen, I get it, it's stunning, like it's worth seeing. I know why people are there.
High demand, but it can get a little bit hectic, especially considering we came from New York to kind of like get out of that. I know we're in a major city, I know that's probably stupid to say, but we enjoyed being a little bit outside of that and being in a little bit more of like a local area. Which, speaking of, today, tragically, we had to cancel our hike to Arthur's Seat because the weather currently feels like 31 degrees.
It might be even actually more. Do you want to check? It's like 34. But the wind is going 25 miles an hour. When we woke up for the time that we were planning on hiking, the temperature was 31 degrees. That's without wind chill being taken into consideration, and
we didn't want to get sick for the rest of our trip.
Yeah, we're hikers. Like, we've hiked in very cold temperatures because
in ice and snow.
Yeah, so we're not wimpy. It's just that I'm like, I don't have my fleece land leggings. I don't have my hat, my gloves. Michelle has gloves.
I have gloves and I have heat tech leggings, but even then, the wind is so intense. Even just walking to our brunch place from across the street, we were like, I'm so glad I'm not on a mountaintop. So we will have to come back. We'll have to make a return to Scotland for sure and do a little Arthur's Seat hike maybe in the summer.
But right now we thought it would be vibey to check out Leith, since it's close to where we wanted to have breakfast, and it's a little bit more of a local area, and we were quite charmed last night. We're like, maybe we should spend more time outside of Old Town, just because we did so much of our trip yesterday and wandering in those areas, so that way we can just get a little bit more of a local, smaller, more quiet scene before we leave.
I did just want to say there were 2 places that we did not get to hit up for like an afternoon tea moment that I do think next time we would love to check them out. One is Glen Eagles Townhouse. It's a hotel where apparently you can get a pot of tea and a biscuit for £5, and we saw TikTok about it. It seems like such a cozy place to catch your breath. Unfortunately, it did not make sense timing-wise with our itinerary, but that was something we wanted to check out. And then also this place called Clarinda's Tea Room. I will insert some visuals. Absolutely tragic that we could not make it to Clarinda's, because boy oh boy does it look like a bit of the 2 of us. Also, Scranton Scally we didn't make it to, and then what was the other place? Grazing by Mark Greenway were 2 dinner spots that we didn't get to check out. Looked a treat, but that menu rocked our world. We didn't even get to eat there, but reading the menu was enough for us.
I'm devastated I didn't get to try the sticky toffee pudding souffle. Hello everybody, I don't know how well you're going to be able to hear me because it's quite windy and I am on a busy street, but here's hoping, fingers crossed. I just finished up a whiskey tasting that I did all by myself, which I'm very proud of because low-key I think it's intimidating to do things all by your lonesome, but Michelle doesn't like whiskey, I love whiskey, so I wanted to go. And sometimes with this stuff, with like these little guided experiences that you buy a ticket for, you worry that it's gonna be very kitschy and very waste of money core, but I will say so far I feel like we've been so lucky with the guides that we've been getting and the experiences in general. I highly would recommend. I feel like I learned a lot about Scottish history, about the different flavor palettes of the regions, and also just geographically I feel a lot more informed about the country as a whole. So yeah, anyway, I'm a little worried about the wind and about you not hearing me, so I'll update you guys more when I get back to our Airbnb, where Michelle is already there and soaking in a tub, which I am very jealous of. But it's been a busy day regardless, so now I feel ready to get a little cozy before we figure out what's for dinner, what are we doing with our evening, and all that jazz. So yeah.
Hello everybody, good morning. It's our last morning in Edinburgh. We're all packed up. We're a little bit sleepy because we woke up early to pack and get out of here.
Also, we've been finding actually that having 2 cups of coffee every single day plus like 5 cups of tea each, it makes for a restless sleep.
Yeah, I think we both were tossing and turning last night after multiple caffeinated beverages.
So yesterday was a lot more low-key than we thought. We walked the least amount of steps, 8,000 if you're curious, which is basically nothing compared to what we have been doing, but makes sense. We saw so much the first day. We were so proactive about it. We wanted to do a lot of the things that were just kind of outdoor centric because we had a feeling, because of the weather app, that
because of the weather that was confirmed,
that the weather that day was gonna be kind of hideous. And we were so right. As we said in our clip, we had to pivot, we had to cancel our Arthur Seat hike, which a very nice shop lady named Karen in Leith told us that like it was overrated. And even though I would have liked to have done it anyway, it was nice to hear.
Even just walking around on the streets facing the blustering winds, we were happy with that choice. But
yeah,
we had a really nice time. We just like popped into some coffee shops and a lot of bookstores, and then we hit up the Writers Museum, which was very cool.
So cool.
It's, yeah, very exciting to read about these like very prolific writers from Scotland and like their impact on the country and the culture. And also the building that the Writers Museum was in is like, just feels like you're in this magical tower.
It does feel like that. It feels like a little like medieval playhouse.
It's, yeah, it was very cool and it was free, so that was the perfect activity for the afternoon. And we popped into this little cafe called, was it Deacon's Close?
Yeah, that sounds right. Deacon something.
Deacon's Close. And our friend Jazz recommended it to us, and it was such a great spot because it was right next to the Writers Museum and very close to Aline's whiskey tasting experience, and it was perfect to like, yeah, just have a cozy cup of tea, have some scones, recharge. I feel like I definitely hit a wall during that point of the day. It was just very cold and I got very tired. Yeah. So I started getting a little cranky, so it was nice to have a recharge moment. Yeah. We both do quite well in the cold. Look at us. I'm in like a, this is a wool, this is another layer, this giant is a heat tech vest. Like, I'm not out here being like, I want to wear my summer suit. Like, don't get me wrong. But I think that there was an element of stress when you're only in a place for a few days and you reach a point where you're like, okay, I've reached my cold limit. I would like to just go be snuggly somewhere, but you're also feeling guilty for being snuggly somewhere because you're like, I should be out seeing things. I should get another museum in and another. We had such a nice time, but it's like navigating the pressures of wanting to see everything and then also listening to your own needs. And let's be honest, we're kind of in that halfway point of our trip, so we're getting a little bit more tired. We don't necessarily have the energy that we did on day one. Yeah, it's giving bus club, another club, no sleep. Yeah. We have really checked off a lot on our itinerary, and yesterday we just kind of wanted to vibe, pop around. Yeah, it's so beautiful here that truly, like, you can go anywhere and something is a marvel, you know? Absolutely. So, even just like walking around in the street was such a good time, and like the architecture is seriously, like, in the city, probably one of the most beautiful places we've ever seen with our own two eyes. I know. No, but as I said in my clip post whiskey experience, I had such a great time. It is an experience that I'm so glad that I went ahead and did. I also don't really get to be a solo traveler all that often, and I had a great time making pals with a mother-daughter combo and this single lad, he was a man with a wife, late 60s, from New Zealand, but we became like a little pod and we like sat at the table and had whiskeys together post presentation, and that was so sweet. And me and Michelle have also said this, but the whiskey experience did this for me as well, which is like piquing my curiosity in seeing more of Scotland and potentially coming back and doing more of the country. Absolutely. So, let us know down below if you're from Scotland, live in Scotland, have traveled here quite a bit, where you would recommend we see next. Also, Scottish people, y'all are sweeties. We've talked about this multiple times where like the people here are so nice and so kind. Yeah, just so friendly and warm. So that's been such a beautiful experience to have while we've been here. And we're actually going to one of the places that we've looked forward to the most. Yay. This place called Lenon Bakery that we've heard nothing but amazing things about. So we're actually headed over there. We're going to get a selection of pastries for our journey to the Cotswolds because we're actually renting a car and we're driving there from Edinburgh. I'm a little nervous. If I think about it, it's really not that complicated. At least I'm not driving around the city itself. I'm really driving from one place to another to the countryside, and that should be a lot more low-key. I've been stressed out for the past few days, like staring at these Edinburgh roads, and low-key, I don't know how people do it. I find it so stressful because like in the States, everything is just like, this is a crosswalk, here are the lines for that, this is a one-way street, here are the labels, and here everything's just like so cute and minimalistic. But I genuinely, me and Michelle have a hard time like figuring out where to cross the street sometimes. Maybe we're just complete idiots. But those studs in the ground, sometimes I'm also a little colorblind, so it could be just like I don't see them. Well, it's just adjusting. The street like structures are just different, which is, you know, natural when you're in a different country. But yeah, it's just that adjustment where you're like, oh my god, I'm used to like neon yellow lines. Yeah, which is kind of heinous, let's just be honest. But yeah, so anyway, we're gonna be driving. I am excited. I think that, like I was telling Michelle, I'm like, it's gonna be, I think, really beautiful. And then also we do get to sit down, which is something that I honestly have been craving a little bit. Hopefully it's just more of a chill day. Yeah. And we have nothing planned besides getting to our inn in the Cotswolds and having a nice dinner there at the pub. Yeah, we have a reservation at the gastro pub, so that's huge. Last night we did manage to just walk into a nice, casual, chill, no frills, I was gonna say a pub in our neighborhood here in, this is West End. We're right by Haymarket. To be able to just like walk in and not be like turned away, not have to wait, just like also, we weren't around tourists either. They were all just like local people having a meet up. Like there was a gaggle of friends and one of their husbands, and we were sitting at a shared table with them,
and it was very soothing. Just because it was nice to be not around like this.
I think that we can get a little bit caught up in wanting to like go to these like places that people are like raving about on TikTok. That honestly, a lot of the times, like the quality like hits. But I think we can get like a little bit in our heads about being like, oh no, we have to go to the spot. Yeah. And sometimes it's nice to just get a no frills fish and chips and just have a nice time.
I will say though, you guys, I've been desperately seeking toffee pudding since I had it our first night at Makar's Mash Bar, and truly it's been way too hard to find at these other spots that I've gone. I feel like everyone should offer it for every single dessert. I don't mean to put y'all in a box as the country of Scotland, but I'm like, serve it on up. Right in here. The pub that we went to last night said that they had it on the menu, or I guess that they used to have it on the menu.
The menu online, not in person.
Yes, and then in person, didn't see it. My heart started pounding my chest. And then after we finished our fish and chips, I was like hailed down the waitress and I was like, sticky toffee pudding for us to share. And she's like, we don't have sticky toffee pudding.
She's like, we don't have that.
I think Michelle said it. It's like, that is the most humbling thing a person can go through, is as an adult being like, sticky toffee pudding?
And then be like, no, we don't have that. Like, you're just literally inventing a menu item.
We don't have that, girl.
They don't even have a dessert section anymore, I don't think.
I was giving oddball energy after we left because it was another puddingless night. Heaven forbid.
Pauline literally forced us to like go clamor into like a sports bar and ask the waitress if she could get a sticky toffee pudding
for takeaway.
But there was some sort of game on, so it's fine. It was just not the night, but we're hoping tonight is the night.
We're not hoping. I looked up the menu that they sent me from our inn that we're going to, and there is some on the menu, so I'm getting what I want tonight. No ifs, ands, or buts. Let's go. It's a little later than we want to be taking off.
We're trying to go with the flow a little bit more because we can be quite rigid and stressed.
Yeah,
so
that you want to be with friends.
Anyway, this Airbnb has treated us so kindly. It's been so cozy, and it's been the perfect area, like being in
Michelle, we just talked about it.
Being in West End, like off the Haymarket stop, has been so lovely. It's nice to be in like a very residential zone. Also very central to everything. So, loved it. And yeah, we're needing coffee, clearly. So, let's get on the road.
In half a mile, at Highfields Roundabout, take